With sugar and spice and a roll of the dice, you're listening to The Dice Girls.
Taylor Swift sent my cousin Taylor Swift a cease and desist.
Wait, what? What?
Wait a minute.
What?
Back up the truck.
Alexa? Okay,
Like, stop using your name?
Yeah, so I have a cousin named Taylor Swift. She's married now, so she's actually she's not Taylor Swift anymore, but her maiden name was Swift, and she is also a singer and songwriter. She just didn't get famous first. So Taylor Swift, the famous one, her team sent a cease and desist to my cousin because she couldn't use her own name. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so, and no, I mean, I don't know how my cousin Taylor feels about it. We actually don't talk that much, but
You should get her on the horn. We need
I mean, what else is famous Taylor Swift supposed to do, I guess, I mean, I don't know.
Right.
It's not.
But I didn't know that you could do a cease and desist on someone when that's like their legal name to start
Right?
with.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing.
And I don't know.
Well, it's probably because she's got it all like trademarked, you know, like every single
every variation of her name and sayings and all
in
that.
the different like categories,
Yeah.
And
Interesting.
this was a pretty long time ago, too, just throwing that out there.
I was going to say, it makes me wonder if there's a similar, because I know that some actors have had to, change their names when they want to go into acting because there's already an official actor, registered with, I don't know if it's SAG-AFTRA, I don't know which,
It's SAG.
Yeah.
Yeah, SAG does not allow once somebody has signed up under a name in SAG, nobody else can use that name.
Which is why we have...
So, Michael B. Jordan?
Yes, absolutely, exactly. That's why he's Michael...
Because Michael Jordan was in Space Jam?
Yes. That's literally it. That's why. And so I wonder if there's, a similar, thing for singers where, you can't be a singer-performer with the same name.
Yeah.
So I would think it would go by who was born first.
Oh.
Like if your cousin was older, then
I think it's just whoever signs up first.
Yeah, whoever signs. I'm going to trademark my name right now because what if someone comes knocking on my door with handcuffs and says, "I'm sorry, you've been using this name and it's trademarked."
It wouldn't be handcuffs. They just make you pay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be paperwork.
Yeah.
It would be legal paperwork.
Okay.
It would be a civil suit. It wouldn't be like a criminal.
It wouldn't?
Yeah.
Okay, so the guys in the black sunglasses wouldn't show up at the door?
No.
Okay. Have any of you, have you seen a UFO?
I love that question. It's just so out of nowhere.
I mean, if you know my mom, you know that it's not out of nowhere. But we were not speaking anything, conversation wasn't even near there.
Well, I got to thinking of the guys in the black sunglasses, and I thought Men in Black, and then I thought UFO.
That tracks, actually.
Yeah, I get it. I totally get it. I don't believe I've ever seen a UFO. I've seen some weird ghosty stuff, but not a UFO.
Like what kind of, is there anything you can share, or is it?
Just a couple things that one of them was, the scariest one was, it was here at this house that I'm in right now, actually. I used to have a day bed in my room, in my childhood bedroom. That's where I'm at. Again, I'm at my mom's house. And so I had a day bed, and I had a scary dream, and I woke up right after the jump scare part of the dream, and it was as if someone was standing at the end of my daybed shaking it. The whole bed Yes, I swear to God. The whole bed was just like lurching like back and forth.
Wow.
I was
I hate
terrified. I couldn't move. I was so scared. And then like once it stopped, I seriously was frozen there just waiting for it again. And then I went to my parents' room and like I slept the rest of the night on their floor. They didn't believe me. They like, you know, obviously because I don't know, I was a kid, but they were like, maybe there was like a toy or something that got like turned on in the middle of the night, and I'm like, no, it was like literally a grown adult was standing at the end of my daybed shaking it back and forth. It was so terrifying. It was the scariest thing that's ever happened to me.
Oh my gosh.
That's horrifying.
It was awful.
Yeah.
No, thank you. And it only happened the one time.
Only the once. It was like,
Thank goodness.
Yeah. The other like ghosty thing that was here was just like, it was just such a small, strange thing though, but I remember it so clearly. There's a tree line between our yard and the neighbor's yard, and it's like, they're kind of spaced out, but they're like fir trees. And so I was running like alongside the property line, and our neighbors, who didn't actually even have a small child, but there was a small child that I saw who was like running kind of like alongside me, and he had on like a red jacket and a little pair of blue jeans and like sandy blonde hair. Like I really remember this kid, and it was just like from a scary movie. I ran past one of the trees and then he was gone. He was like running next to me at one point, and I'm like looking around the tree like maybe he's playing hide and seek, maybe he's hiding. I never ever found that kid. There wasn't a kid. It was just it was so crazy. I was freaked out and confused.
That's wild.
It was weird. So those are the only two like ghosty type things I've ever had happen. They were both pretty scary. But it was so long ago that like
I bet he was probably trying to figure out if that basketball hoop was in the right position.
He went to try to play basketball, but it had moved.
He was confused.
Was that part of the conversation even recorded?
Oh, I don't know.
Or are we referencing something that we? Were we already?
I think we were already recording.
Yeah, we recorded it.
Okay,
yeah, hopefully.
People are going to be real confused about that one.
Let's just leave it. Let's not add any context.
We're just all laughing.
Yeah. Like, oh my gosh, haha, so funny. Inside joke.
So, Ash, have you ever seen a UFO or a ghost?
I am sorry, I can't add to this conversation because I've never seen a UFO or a ghost or anything that was like unexplainable. Or if I have, then I've forgotten it. So it was either too traumatizing or not traumatizing enough to remember.
Right.
Yeah.
Alexa, what about you?
Yeah, what about you guys?
See, I was in the same boat as you. That I didn't think I had seen anything until Mom and I were watching. It was like celebrity ghost stories, and you know they'd bring a celebrity on and they'd tell like, oh, I saw this thing. And I can't remember who it was, but they were talking about being on like the Queen Mary or something, and they're like, I saw this full body apparition dressed in like period, clothing, and I was like, I don't know if I believe in that. If you could like tell what a ghost is wearing, because everything I've seen is just like wispy shadows and stuff. I don't know if I believe in like, oh, I could tell what they were wearing head to toe, And Mom just goes, you don't remember, do you? I was like, excuse me? She's like, you don't remember, do you? And you should probably tell it, because I don't remember it.
Okay. So
I still don't remember it. Even after she told me the whole story, I was like, this is not ringing any bells.
Yeah, we were living in this house with a bunch of other people in it, and some of the other people that had lived there had said, just so you know, this place is haunted, and my kids say that they see a little boy named Michael, kind of wakes them up and stuff, and they had kind of relayed some of the things that had happened to them. And then they moved out of the house, so it was just me and the kids
left. And I was like 3.
Yeah,
right?
You were like 3. Ian was like 1. He just was getting ready to turn 1. And so after everybody moved out, Alexa, we were downstairs and I was brushing her hair, and Alexa says, "Mama, I don't want to go back upstairs." And I said, "Why not?" And she said, "I don't want to see the big man anymore. He scares me." And I'm like, "What big man?" And she says, "The man, when I'm standing at the top of the stairs, he always says, 'I'm going to give you a push.'" And I'm like, I was freaking out. And so I went upstairs and I had got my friend Kathy on the phone and told her what was going on. I said, "I don't want to go upstairs by myself. I'm like terrified." So I went and got our stuff, our pillows and blankets and stuff, and brought them downstairs. Then we went to, I didn't sleep much that night, because then I was asking Alexa, "So who's the big man?" And she said the doctor is the big man. He pushes the button and the sky gets all fired up. And his big lovely girl with the red eyes and the long white dress, he pushes the button at her, and she says, no daddy, don't kill me." And he pushes the button and the sky gets all fired up. Which at this point, we did not have television, so she had never seen a gun.
That's terrifying.
And then we were somewhere right after she was telling me the story. They were watching Cops, and she saw a cop with a gun. She goes, "Mama, that's it. That's the pusher. The man pushes the button, the sky gets all fired up." And the big lovely girl screams, "No, daddy, don't kill me." And so I'm like freaking out. I don't want to, we're just getting ready to move into a different house. And so, and then she had also told me that she woke me up and she said, "Mommy, Michael keeps waking me up. He wants to play and he keeps throwing toys at me, and I'm tired and I don't want to play." And it's just like, it was just one thing after another. And Alexa wasn't in the room when any of these conversations with the other people were taking place about things that were happening in the house.
Wow.
And so the next day I had told the person that was helping us move into this other house, "I don't care what needs to be done in that other house. I'm not staying another night in this house that we're in." And they're like, "Okay, we'll get you out of there." And so I took the kids to the park, and just to kind of clear my head and spend some time in the sunshine. And because I always overreact to everything, every single thing I have since I had kids, basically. And so I thought, I think I'm reading too much into this. I'm overreacting. We had such a beautiful day at the park. It was sunny and the kids were playing. So we're driving back to the house, and Alexa from the back seat says, "Mommy, I'm not afraid of everybody who lives upstairs, just the big man." And I slammed on the brakes, pulled off the road, and I'm shaking. And I said, "Well, how many people are up there?" She said, "Oh, there's a lot of people up there, but the only one that's scary is the big man." And so I told that person, I said, "I need the keys to that other place. I don't even want to go back in the house to get my stuff." So this person met us at the house with the keys to this other place, helped us get our stuff. And then she said, this was like a halfway house, just to kind of clarify, because it's kind of confusing what it was. It was like a shelter that we were living in. So she gives me the keys to the other place, and she said, "I didn't want to scare you, but a lot of people have experiences in this house, but we don't say anything because not everybody does, and we don't want to put it in their heads. But kids, it's usually kids who can see things that are going on in the house." And she said that apparently there was a doctor that lived in this house in the horse and buggy days. And yeah, so it was like a whole thing.
Dang.
So
Whoa.
yeah, it was terrifying. And there was one night in that house before Alexa had said anything where I was eating, the kids were already asleep. I was in the kitchen, sitting at the kitchen table, eating something, and I went to get up to get like ketchup or something from the fridge. Then came back to the table and my chair was pushed in. It was a big, heavy oak chair that was pushed all the way into the table. And I'm standing there looking at it and I'm thinking, I must have pushed that chair in. And so I just pulled the chair out and sat down. And then I'm thinking, why on earth would I push the chair? Even if I'm in a frazzled state, why would I push the chair in to go grab something out of the fridge? So that was the only like experience that I had personally in that house. But
yeah, and I remember none of it. Nothing. Which I'm very glad about, because that's scary.
It is.
So, 2 things that are number one, which I think is most important here. A big man who presses a button and the sky lights up or turns to fire.
Gets all fired. She said the sky gets all fired up.
Is the big man Croydon?
Oh my god.
Is that the inspiration?
It could be. I didn't realize that he's been visiting me in my dreams.
Croydon has been there all along.
All the way from Ukiah, California.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
I just thought that was
Wow.
That was wild. The button and the fire and the sky.
The Skyballs.
Scarballs.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Channeling the big man from the scary
my
house in
gosh.
Ukiah.
And this is unrelated. I mean, I guess it's sort of related, but why are ghosts always like, when you can see what they're wearing, they're like Victorian era? Where are all the modern
Yeah.
ghosts?
Yeah.
Like people.
Where are all the
Or even-
ancient ghosts?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like cavemen
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
ancient Egyptians, or
yeah.
it's always.
Like
There must be like a window when they're.
So, like, when the Victorian people were alive, they're seeing, like, the ancient Greeks.
there was like an eclipse.
Romans and
There was like a
a
Victorian eclipse
I
that
like
caused
this.
Victorian ghosts.
So then in 1,000 years, people are gonna see a bunch of, like boomer ghosts.
Oh no, all the ghosts. I mean, I guess boomer ghosts would be more interesting, right? As soon as we all got cell phones, like all the ghosts are just gonna be laying on everybody's couches, like
Yeah.
on their phones.
I've seen a couple of, like, I don't know if they were Tumblr posts or Reddit posts or whatever, just about, like, how funny ghosts are gonna be now.
Right? Yeah.
Like, especially, like, Gen Z ghosts, like, how are just gonna be, like, just nonchalant.
You just got
and,
pranked.
Like,
Yeah.
like,
Hey, yeah.
Like-
yeah.
Bam, 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 bam.
Like and subscribe.
Ghost, say like and subscribe. Bam, 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 bam.
Yeah, we'll just be doing TikTok dances in the corner.
And ghost flossing in the
Oh
corner.
my god. Ghost dab.
that's fantastic.
Ghost dab.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, I can't wait to see our ghosts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be gone by then, I think.
Well, you could, like, hang around and watch the kid ghosts, you know.
Okay. I could coach them.
It's like, no, your dab needs to be deeper.
Yes.
Right?
Deeper.
Yes.
Yeah, that's interesting that it always is like there must have been, like, who said that there was like a solar eclipse or something during the
That's-
Victorian times?
That's what I
Was
said.
that
I don't
actually?
know.
Yeah.
I made that
Okay.
up. I don't know that there was a solar eclipse.
Here's what it could have been. Solar flare. Okay, solar flare. The sun just gets super, super bright, and it's almost like taking a picture, and everything that was at that time is like forever memorialized and memorialized. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, that's why you'll see ghosts. That's why you'll see ghosts who are just like going about their business. So like some of them have figured out and they're like trying to spook you, but then other ones are just like pushing the
Yeah,
wheelbarrow or whatever.
Yep.
A ghost
walking
wheelbarrow.
by some trees by Becca's
Yeah.
house.
Playing
Yeah.
with the tree, shaking people's beds.
Yeah.
It was just a solar flare.
Yeah, see, my kind of theory, I guess, is that it probably takes a long time to build up the, like, energy to be able to, like, fully appear as an apparition, you know?
Okay.
It's not something you can just, like, you died yesterday and you're not going to be able to be like, here I am, here are the clothes that I was wearing when I died, you know?
Right.
I kind of figured that it's, like, you have to be dead for a while before you can
start out
do more than like, you start out like moving a cup 2 inches to the left, you know, and then you work your way up. You build your ghost powers, you know. You unlock your skill tree, you know.
Maybe everyone is available. Maybe like everyone has those powers available to them, but ghosts are the only one that have the time to actually learn how to do it.
Oh,
because they don't have jobs.
Right? Exactly.
Totally,
yeah. So it takes a few hundred years.
Yeah, it takes a couple hundred years.
To do.
Like, do you think if people lived a couple hundred years, they could learn how to move things with their mind? But we don't live that long.
Right.
But our lives are being increased all the time, unfortunately.
Not. Our life expectancy has fallen.
Oh, has
the past
it?
couple years.
Oh, how long do I got? Do you think?
It's like I think it was almost like 80 years, but then like over the past couple years now it's like 78.9 years, you know?
Oh my God. I only have 20 years, you guys.
You don't know that. You could be 100.
Oh no. Absolutely. I refuse.
I'm one of those too.
No. And did we talk about on the last episode? I'm trying to remember because the last time we got together, we had lunch here before
and we didn't record it.
And we didn't record it. And it was the day before Becca left for Indiana. And I was trying to remember if it was during that lunch that wasn't recorded that we were talking about down south of us in, I don't know if it's in Scottsdale, Arizona, somewhere in Phoenix. They have the cryogenic place where there's actually people in there that are cryogenically frozen waiting for the technology to catch up to where they can be thawed out.
Yeah, I think that was during the lunch. I don't think we were, because we were all talking about how we each wanted to be buried or like what we wanted done with our remains.
Right.
And I don't know how we got onto that topic, but we talked about it for a while.
That's right.
We all want something very different done with our remains, I feel like, when we're gone.
Right.
I'm gonna be cremated and mixed with glitter and then passed out like party favors at my funeral. Everybody gets a little bit.
I love that. I'm going to sprinkle a little. Well, no, hopefully I'm gone before you. But if it was, I would like to have some of your glitter because it would be kind of cool to kind of sprinkle a little bit on the table.
Where we record. On our dinner table.
Well, we don't eat dinner there anymore. Only when we have company, we just won't tell them.
Don't mind the.
Do you wash your table?
Yeah.
Don't mind the glitter.
Do you wipe down the table?
It's just Becca.
Well, I probably wouldn't wash it if Becca was on there. Okay, here it is. I've got it. I'm going to mix the glitter into this like lacquer or whatever, epoxy, and then just coat the table.
Yeah.
Even better.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, and then
And everybody
Make for good dinner conversation. Yeah, you see that? That's my friend.
I think
it's just a little bit of her. It's like her toe or something.
her left pinky toe.
Yeah.
I love that so much. And that's why I want to be passed out like party favors so that everybody can do whatever they want with me. And then I spend the afterlife in a billion different different places.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I was a little skeptical at first, but I like the idea that everybody can kind of have their own little like ritual to say goodbye to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool.
Thanks.
I don't know how I would I would want to be cremated. I just something about separating it into pieces is I think where the disconnect is for
that's
me.
fair.
Where I'm like, what does that mean? Does that mean that you'll be a ghost because like you can't connect again, or like Or is it like a Horcrux where like you put them all together? Or
someone's gonna have to go on a really, really difficult quest later in life.
Yeah.
Collect ashes.
Someone's gonna have to take Kim's table.
Yeah. They'll just
It's kind of a big table too.
Yeah. Just put it in the van. We're hitting the road.
Or like a supernatural type deal where you have to like, you know, like burn every you know, part of it to like make the ghost go away, you know? So somebody would have to lug the table.
Right.
You just wake up one morning and your kitchen table has been chopped into pieces by like a silver axe.
Yeah. You're like, oh, it's just someone Horcrux hunting. It's just... You're like, oh, okay.
We're just here for the Becca.
I knew this day would come.
That's hilarious.
I just want, because I keep going back and forth about what I want.
A list.
I have a list of fun things to do with my remains. One of them I think would be really fun. Like, you know how some people donate their body to science? Like, I want to donate it to mine to Hollywood, because then you could be watching an episode of CSI and then go, oh, look, there's Mom. You know what I mean? It's like I could be part of the show. I could be memorialized.
You're like the skeleton that's hanging in the laboratory.
Yes, exactly.
I love that.
Like, that's my mom's skeleton. Look, kids, that's Grandma's skeleton.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah, so I want to do that, but then I also want to be shot up into a firework.
Yeah, she wants her ashes in a firework.
Yeah, but eventually I just told her, just surprise me.
Yeah.
Because
she also wants me somehow to smuggle her ashes into the Haunted Mansion.
Yes, at Disneyland.
It's like, I don't know how I'm going to do that, because I'm sure a lot of people want it, so they're like
which is
on guard.
Which is really odd, but I'm thinking that's one of those universal things that you want your ashes scattered at the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland. I thought I was the only one that had this weird connection with that ride, but then on like TikTok, I think was when I started seeing a bunch of people talking about how they want to have their ashes sprinkled at the Haunted Mansion, which I think there's something to that, because I have a recurring dream that I've had since I was a kid, that I'm going to Disneyland and that I'm going on that ride. And it's like, it's not scary at all. It's like, this is, we're here. It's time to get on the ride again. And then I'm riding the ride in my dream. And
I think it's really cool that Disney made this like ride that calls to so many people's souls and feels like an afterlife home for them. Like what did they do that I think that's really cool. I think that's awesome that so many people have had that shared experience of like, this feels like a lovely resting place.
It does.
That's cool.
It does.
See, I've been on the ride and I didn't get those vibes.
Well, I mean, it's because I have
not been on the ride.
Ridden it so many times, because I grew up in like the LA area and then San Diego area, so we were always at Disneyland. So it was a pretty common thing to ride that ride, and so I just have good memories of it from being a kid. But they have so many people that want ashes scattered there that they have cameras on all the time and they're always watching, and they said there's no point in you scattering your ashes here, because at the end of the day we take a vacuum or brooms and sweep everything up so you're gone. No. So it's not, so is there any go ahead.
I had a question on my on my list of things to bring up if we run out of things to talk about, was just name your top 3 favorite forms of potato.
Ooh. Oh,
I can only pick 3.
Do you want to take this one?
Yeah, or you can do top 5 because it's a very short list. It's French fries.
Yeah, that she does
French fries and hash browns, and that is it.
She does not eat potatoes.
Twice baked potato. I do like a twice baked potato, so those are my
There you
three.
go.
When did that happen?
When I was working at Grand Circle Grill,
Okay.
whenever they'd have leftover baked potatoes from the night before,
Mm-hmm.
the chef would make everybody in the kitchen twice baked potatoes.
Oh, wow.
But they were made by a chef,
okay,
you know,
right.
and so they were very good with like, you know, there was like bacon in them. And,
oh, yum.
yeah. Those are the only acceptable forms of potatoes. I hate everything else.
What?
So, like, would this be you only have one type of potato and for like the rest of your life? Is that kind of the deal?
No, I think it's just like name your top 3 favorite forms of potato because there's so many ways to eat them.
Well, French fries would be number 1 for me.
What kind of French
baked
fries?
potato.
Do you,
Yeah, there's a lot of French fries.
like a steak fry, a shoestring, waffle
No,
fry?
Waffle
no,
fry.
not shoestring.
Yeah, shoestring.
Yeah, shoestring.
Yeah. Or curly fry is also
Oh,
acceptable.
Curly
Yes.
is my, curly fry for me too. But not tater tots. I don't like tater tots. There's,
I can do tater tots.
I'm not, there's too much crunch versus potato in a tater tot for me.
What?
That's why I can tolerate it.
I disagree. Number 1 is every potato. Number 2 is every potato. How can I pick only 3?
I know.
You know, boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew. Okay, curly fries are up there. Like a baked potato with chili and cheese, or like chili cheese fries.
Ooh.
Yum. Isn't that so hard?
This is like picking favorite children. This is like everything else is number 3.
Nice.
No, maybe just a classic like mashed potato with white gravy, like the country gravy.
Yeah.
That's just very
Oh.
it's home.
Nice.
It's home for
Aw,
me. Yeah.
I
Yum.
like that.
Yeah.
Becca, what did you already say yours?
Okay, I'm definitely curly fries is up there for me. I also am a fan of a good baked potato, like a loaded.
Yes.
You know what? I loved baked potatoes so much, and then my friend Roach said to me the other day that like he feels like baked potatoes are pointless because by the time you make it edible, it's not about the potato anymore. It's about the butter and the sour cream and the
Hard disagree. Hard disagree.
I'm with you.
Right.
I will eat a baked potato. I
Plain.
will just eat
Yes.
like a plain baked potato,
Yes.
or I'll stand there with some salt and like sprinkle it on and like just stand there and eat it.
Wow.
Like
And
I love potatoes.
I know they're so good. I think my last one is potato wedges. I love a good wedge.
wedges.
Okay.
I had a debate
Love a
about
good wedge, yeah.
wedges.
Yeah.
And then what about sweet potatoes?
That's what I just thought of. Like that's just regular
sweet
potatoes.
fries.
Like I love
Yeah.
sweet potato
Yeah,
fries.
I feel like those don't
Does that count?
count.
'Cause that's a sweet
those
potato.
Are like a squash,
Like a yam.
aren't they? Kind of
Okay.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
They're because I like sweet potatoes, you know.
Yeah.
But I feel like everybody should know that in 7th grade, my nickname was Tater Hater because everybody was just stunned by the fact that I hate potatoes. Like you can't. That's not allowed. You can't do that. And it's like, well, I hate potatoes.
I'm sorry, this has been a
Hater, hater.
lifelong thing for you.
Yeah, people pick on you for your potato preferences.
It's like it's like you sigh like because you know you're about to tell somebody new that you don't like potatoes. You're like, okay, here we go.
We'll see. And the amount of times that I had to tell my own grandmother that I didn't like potatoes because she'd always forget. And everybody said that she made really good mashed potatoes, you know?
Yeah. And potato soup.
But
Oh, no,
mashed potatoes are
potato
my
soup.
worst enemy. Those are my number 1 least favorite form of potatoes, mashed potatoes.
Is it a texture thing?
It kind of, and just a taste thing, and it's just not a fun time. But so she'd always like every time we'd go over and have dinner at their house, she'd always like, "Oh, you should get some of these potatoes," and she'd start loading me up. And I didn't want to be the one to be like, "Hey, Nana, I don't like potatoes." So Mom would have to speak up and be like, "Oh, she doesn't actually really like potatoes."
Yeah.
But the worst. So I don't like mashed potatoes, and I don't like hot dogs. And the worst monstrosity that has ever been put before me was I was staying the night at my best friend's house, and
The one where she lit the fires.
yes, that house where I almost
Marshmallow fires.
yes. And her older sister was making us dinner, and we were hanging out in my friend's room, and her sister comes in with 2 plates, one for each of us, and it's just a heap of mashed potatoes with 2 hot dogs on top and some melted like American cheese to bring it all together. And my best friend knew that I hated all of those things. And she, after her sisters left, she was laughing so hard. She was like, "You don't have to eat that. Please don't eat that. I'll make you something else." But I just remember holding this plate and looking at it like, this is
Like
my
that was a regular
nightmare.
meal? Like that was a regular meal in their household?
I guess so. Because my best friend, she usually was the one who made dinner. But I think because
For some reason
she
they
was
were-
hanging out with me, her sister was like, "Oh, I'll do it tonight."
Yeah.
And that was the best thing she could come up with.
And
Her
I'm
sister
gonna-
was also like 34 at this point. So
And that's what she came up with for dinner, with some hot dogs on
that's-
some mashed potatoes.
In my mind,
with
I was excusing this monstrosity because I was like, well, I made crappy stuff when I was a teenager too.
no,
I
she
just
was
made
there
what I
already.
was craving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, it was. Yeah, that was the worst thing that's ever been put in front of me.
Oh my god, I'm a little
I
offended.
am offended on
for
your
you.
behalf as well.
Yeah. Because my best friend, she would keep a list of, because I wouldn't call myself a picky eater, because like I'll try anything once, I will, but there are things there's a lot of things that I don't like. And so she had a list, like in one of her notebooks, of just every single food that I wouldn't
Nice.
eat. And she knew that those 2 were
Were
like
at the
right at the top, hot dogs and mashed potatoes.
Maybe the sister saw the list and thought, "Oh, these
Favorite
are things
food.
she really loves.
These are her favorites.
Let's try and combine them."
Let's put the top 2.
Or, I don't think her sister liked me that
So
much.
maybe she
Oh.
knew.
So she could have seen that it said, like, Alexa's no foods. And then she's like, I'm
Make
gonna,
them all together.
I got a plan cooking, you
Yeah.
know.
Here you go.
Yep.
Well, but if I were to go to the trouble to do that to you, I would stick around to try to watch you eat it.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Be like, oh, please tell me, how is it? What do you,
sit there
what do you think?
Please.
I worked so hard on this dinner.
Yeah.
I can't
Or
wait
like-
to see how you love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come eat with us at the dinner table, Because
Right.
she just handed me the plate in my best friend's room. And yeah,
Oh boy.
yeah.
That's rough. That's real rough.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had a similar bad food.
There was a question. Oh, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. No,
You had a
I was
bad.
just gonna say I had a similar bad food experience where someone knew that I hated cottage cheese and tomatoes, and so they like mixed them together and wanted me to eat it, and it was the worst, like most awful, horrible food experience ever.
That's not very.
It was not
nice.
good.
My first or I guess I should say my high school boyfriend knew that I didn't like hamburgers. Okay, this is weird to say that I can eat them now. I'm a vegetarian now, but like if if I were to eat meat, I could eat a hamburger now. Does that make
Yes.
sense? But back when I was in high school, I hated them. So he tried to feed me a McDonald's burger, and I said, I'm not going to like this. And he's like, just take the tiniest bite. So I took the tiniest bite, and I threw up all over him.
Oh no. Serves him
Instant
right.
karma.
Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Like,
Why are lights flickering?
Oh, that's weird.
Are they flickering?
Yeah, I just saw it.
All the ghosts heard
That's weird. Go ahead.
heard us talking about them.
I
Right?
think so.
Yeah.
well, and Becca's lights were flickering.
They were, but that was
Oh. It could be lightning out there, that we just haven't heard.
I don't think maybe
mine was just because the electrical socket is a little loose. I switched them and it's good now.
Well, my lights aren't flickering, but
That's good.
I mean, I guess I'm next.
Yeah, they might.
The episode of Flickering Lights.
Who was your from the Discord? One of Joy T's questions was, who is your favorite teacher ever?
Hard to pick the top one, but I'm gonna have to say Mrs. Samuels she was my 4th grade teacher. Definitely the best. Close second is my 3rd grade, but
Nice.
for 4th grade, Mrs. Samuels, she was amazing.
What was amazing about her?
She wasn't afraid to be like real. So like she told this story that was like the first time somebody had told like a not gruesome story, but like potentially kind of it was about her husband having an accident. I'm trying to remember. It involved a ladder and like he cut his finger. So like that was the first time anybody had like told like a group, and so I was like, oh, this is like, whoa. And also I was the overhead girl in my class. So like we had the overhead projector and I was the one who was sitting next to it. So I got to be in charge of like, changing out the slides, and sometimes I got to write on the overhead slide or whatever, which is very, it was quite an honor. And she was a lot of fun all around. She was also my cousin Alf's 4th grade teacher. So like she already knew me before I got there because after class every day, I'd have to walk past her class and he'd point me out. He'd be like, "That's my little cousin Ashley," So like I was already famous in her world before I even got to her class. She was a lot of fun just all around. She was a great person.
Mine was Mrs. O'Hagan. She was my 3rd and 4th grade teacher. She jumped grades and I got to have her twice, which was amazing. And she was a hippie, and she would bring her guitar to class and she would sing Joan Baez songs to the class in the morning, and we'd be swaying and singing songs. And back then I didn't like my name. I still am not. I don't feel like a Kim. I've never felt like a Kim. It just, when people use my name, it's just like, that's just odd because it's not me, but it is me kind of thing.
I get that.
And so I had told her when she was asking, doing roll call and stuff like that, and I told her that I don't like the name Kim. I want to be called Lee, which is my middle name. And and never, not one single time did she ever call me Kim. She called me Lee through the whole 2 years of school, which that was really cool. But she was just so fun.
Yeah.
Loved singing with her. What about you, Alexa?
It's difficult because I wouldn't necessarily call myself a teacher's pet because like I wouldn't like suck up, but my teachers always really liked me. So like if I had to choose one, okay, so it's between my 7th grade science teacher, Mrs. Norte, and my 5th grade teacher, Mrs. Lester. Because like middle school, she was my 8th grade science teacher. Because middle school, I would never do my homework, I was struggling real hard. And so most of my friends got to go into honors like I think it was biology for 8th grade, and I was one of the only people who in my friend group who was in just like the regular old science class, and so everybody else was in this other teacher's class, but in Mrs. Norte's class, that was the only class that I got straight A's in, like all 4 quarters. Yeah. That was the only time that I ever got like straight A's in middle school. But she always made me feel like I was super smart, you know, because she was always like, she'd always tell me like, you shouldn't be in this class, you know? Yeah. You should be in the biology class. You're not doing your homework. You're not applying yourself, you know? So she always made me feel really good about my intelligence, which I liked. But Mrs. Lester, she was a hoot, man. She was a fun lady. She was my 5th grade teacher, and I'm pretty sure still to this day, is obsessed with manatees. Like, it's like there were manatees all over the classroom, and then towards the end of the year, every year, her class would vote on which manatee that the class would get to adopt. You know, we'd all vote on like 4 or 5 different ones, and then that would be our manatee, and we'd watch like the tracker to see where the manatee is, and like we'd read about like the manatee's life, which you never really know if that's true. Right. But she was a fun lady.
She was cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
What about you, Becca?
I have 2 that I'm having trouble choosing between. One of them is my 2nd grade teacher, Mrs. Davis. She was amazing, and we like really connected over the fact that I loved to read because she also was like a reader. And so she used to have this little like set of fact books, that the books were like this. They were so tiny. They were really small. And I was the only kid that she would let like borrow them to take home because like I loved to read and I was good at reading, and she let me borrow them. And then at the end of the year, she bought me a t-shirt that said, "So many books, so little time." And it was just so sweet, like, and I loved that forever, and it made me want to love reading more, and like still I do to this day. She was awesome. And then I had a teacher in high school. Her name was Mrs. Malik, and I loved the way that she structured her class because it was so helpful to me. So the way that she set up, she taught like the social studies type classes. So like sociology and things like that. All of her classes were structured the same way. On the first day of class, she would give you this like big syllabus, and she would be like, if you want to get an A in my class, you need to earn this many points. If you want to get a B, you need to earn this many points. Here's literally the whole year's worth of paperwork assignments that you could do. Oh. You can choose to do vocabulary assignments instead. You can she let you free. And then her classes were mostly like free open classes. And she just left you up to your own devices. And she was like, you have all the tools you need to be able to pass this class. If you have questions, I'm here. And then there were some days where we had to read from the book, but she always attached it with these really deep and good class discussions. We would read the passage and then we would have just this open table discussion that always felt really she made sure it was always very respectful, and she liked to present both sides of things to really give us an idea of different people's perspectives. And I don't know, it was just such a free and open way of teaching that I really respected it, and it worked really well for me too.
I love it.
That's super cool.
It was really cool. Yeah. It was nothing I'd ever seen before as a high schooler, but it really worked.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, because I remember in every year in middle school, they always made us take these assessments to see if we were visual learners, if we were, it was kinetic learners or whatever. And every year the majority of the class would be kinetic learners, and they would just never do anything with that information. Right. This is okay, cool, filed away for later, but
here, we're going to have you watch something.
Yeah, we're going to have you watch something and take notes, you know? So it's cool that she structured her class that way.
Yeah, it was really neat.
If you guys were teachers, what would you put on your walls? do you have a favorite animal like the manatee teacher where you put like, or are you like a Garfield poster type of teacher?
Hang in there, baby.
I think mine would be penguins. My favorite animal was always penguins, so I think I'd have a lot of penguin stuff.
Yeah.
I think I would have like Garfield posters, like ironically, and then after a couple of years, it wouldn't be ironic anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
I might do turtles. I love turtles.
Ooh.
But I also love like color, bright color. So I would just have a lot of bright, colorful things. Like rainbows everywhere.
That tracks.
Yeah. Glitter. Everything would be glittery.
Yeah. I really like foxes.
Aw.
I think foxes are my favorite animal.
That's
a good
cool.
one.
Yeah.
And my walls would be covered with like pictures of Lee Joon-gi.
Oh God.
I think so I could introduce the class to Scarlet Heart Rio, the best K-drama.
Like, what grade are you teaching?
What subject?
8-year-olds.
Yeah, these like first
like, hey,
graders.
Here's this K-drama where everybody dies and it's the saddest thing in the world.
I'm a kindergarten teacher.
Oh my gosh. They're like, what does it mean when someone dies?
You're like, well,
they're gone forever.
you
Kid.
watch my favorite K-drama, you can find out.
Let's watch. Bring out the TV.
Yeah,
We're
roll
gonna-
out the TV on the cart. Yeah.
watch it. I gotta go.
That's fair.
My blood sugar is like crashing.
Oh,
I
no.
didn't even think to bring anything.
Oh no,
Yeah,
to
we've been,
eat,
we've been
so-
going for a
2
long
hours.
time.
Last time, I don't know if you remember, at the end of our session, we were trying to figure out how to end it, how to wrap it up, what we were going to do. So
Right,
we
right,
had that this discussion. So I edited that last session, and I just wanted to play for you guys how that episode ends.
Uh-huh.
No.
Okay, so I'm gonna move my microphone a little bit this way,
so ready.
you can. I'm sure you can hear. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Hopefully you can hear this. Okay, I'm gonna. Can I? Are we good? Okay.
Sign off or
Oh,
I think it'd be funny if we just like end it.
that's
That's
cute.
Yes, I love that.